Yeah, Jason Wygant here from RacerX. Well, we gave Daniel Blair and his Main Event Moto podcast all summer to screw up being a part of the RacerX podcast network, and maybe they did. I just never listened to the show. I mean, I don't know why you are. But either way, we didn't get any email complaints, probably because no one emails anymore. So we're going to keep the show as part of the RacerX podcast network. But first, a word from some sponsors. Air Medcare Network. What if you're hospitalized with an injury far from home? You'd want to recover close to family and friends, and with an Air Medcare Network Fly You Home membership, you'll have control of where you're treated. You'll be transported to your local hospital of choice with no out-of-pocket cost, and you can now save $10 with the offer code 10MOTO. That's 10MOTO. Visit airmedcarenetwork.com/RacerXoffer1. That's the number 1 to get that $10 off your membership. Essentially, it allows you, if you get injured at a race and you're not close to home, you can get flown back to where you live so you can work out of a hospital that's local, which is a lot more convenient for family and friends. Also by Maxxis Tires. You already know that Maxxis delivers the best tires for your bike, but did you know that Maxxis also offers high-quality tires for your car, light truck, trailer, ATV, mountain bike, and much, much more? Maxxis Tires will let you hook up, pull the whole shot, and beat your competition in any terrain or conditions. Just ask the king, Jeremy McGrath. To learn more, go to Maxxis, MAXXIS.com. And this podcast is sponsored by ETS Racing Fuels. With unmatched consistency and performance, ETS powers some of the most winning teams in motocross and supercross. You already know the riders and the team, but you probably don't know the fuel. Why? Because champions don't give away their secrets. But now with ETS's new online ordering system, you can have ETS Racing Fuel delivered right to your door, your shop, or the racetrack. So it's easier than ever to get ETS's championship-winning performance in your tank, whether you're racing 2 strokes or 4 strokes, 2 wheels or 4 wheels. Go to ETSRacingFuels.com and you will have your own winning secret to keep. ETS Racing Fuels, the most winning fuel you've never heard of. And now, on with the show.
Thanks for listening to Main Event Moto.
Skivvy Underwear, SKVI.com.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Ah, yeah, this is nice. Snuck out here to the public pool at night with the wood grain.
Team Skivvy, baby.
What was that?
Team Skivvy, baby.
What's up, Scummy? Founder of Skivvy Underwear, right?
Team Skivvy, baby.
Yeah, Team Skivvy.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Team Skivvy. Skivvy Underwear, I get it.
Team
you don't
Skivvy,
have to
baby.
keep saying
Team Skivvy,
it.
baby.
Dude, you're so... Man, just get off me. Let me go.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Yeah, Scummy, you don't have to try to drown
Team
me.
Skivvy, baby.
Yeah, I get it. Team Skivvy.
Team Skivvy, baby.
Okay, all right. I'm going to get some Skivvy Underwear.
You're listening to the Main Event Moto podcast, powered by Nature's Bakery.
Time for the 139. Main Event Moto brought to you by Nature's Bakery, Fly Racing, Skivvy Underwears, Mika Metals, Scott USA, No Toil, Honda Cowie, KTM of Modesto, Guts Racing, EMT Racing, Key Bar, Rep Racing, and Motosport.com. What up, Joe? So funny, it seemed like a month ago I was in here and we were sweating.
Yeah.
With t-shirts on and, sweat dripping off our brows. And now we're in sweatpants and
Shirtless.
sweatshirts and jackets.
We were shirtless and pantless.
We're cold. We got a little fire brewing.
And we were skivvyless.
No, that's not true. How you doing? How was the weekend?
Oh, dude, weekend was so good.
Hey, can I throw a little something out there?
For show.
For a couple of my good buddies who reminded me that it was Monday morning and there was no show out. And they were not happy with me because apparently we are their Monday morning commute. Well, guess what? During the off season, sometimes the shows come out on Tuesday. Am I right, Joe?
Yeah, buddy.
Now, we don't try to do that all the time, but we have to sometimes based on traveling. I was actually in Boise this weekend for the EnduroCross finals, which is pretty cool. Took Evan with me. Thursday night, Maggie's like, why don't you just take Evan? I'm like, I have companion pass on Southwest. Why not? So I called Southwest, got him on the flight with me. He went with me. We went to EnduroCross for the weekend, just a boys' trip. And that's why we could not do the show on Sunday for a Monday release. That's why we're doing it on Monday for a Tuesday release. So for my good buddy, Larry,
What's up, Larry?
You know who you are.
Lucky Larry.
Lucky Larry. It's out, okay? You just got to wait till Tuesday, bro. Get mad. Don't fire off on me early Monday morning wondering where the show is.
How was EnduroCross?
Honestly, dude, it was pretty rad. I've only been to one. I went to the one in Sac a couple years ago, and it was more of a hang with my friends, kind of drink and part. Like, I really didn't pay attention much. I was a true, like, at the NFL games, you got probably, I'd say, or actually even let's use Supercross as an example. How many of the fans you think in the crowd are like there to watch every move that Ken Roxon makes? Like I'm talking diehard. They're there for the race. What do you think the percentage is?
Your percentage is probably lower than mine. I'm going to say 50, 55.
So 50-50?
Yeah.
And then the other 50 are their friends or chicks or buddies, and they're there to what?
They're there to hang out, drink beer, and have a good time.
And see the fireworks and not even know who won when they went home, but had a good time, right? And that's why, again, even with Supercross, one of the biggest draws to Supercross is the show, the fireworks, the noise, the excitement, the flames. Because not everyone there is a diehard fan. Think about it. If you have 50,000 people at Anaheim, that's not 50,000 people who are going on Sunday to ride or are going to go buy new gear. Half those people are probably there to party and rage and then go to the after party wherever with their friends or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that was me at the EnduroCross a couple of years ago because I was just hanging. I don't even remember who won. I think maybe Mike Brown was racing then. But this one I went for more serious reasons. I was there to learn a new sport. So it was cool. I actually really liked it.
And you were doing the broadcast or just learning?
No, just learning. Learning the details, meeting all the riders, and getting ready for the broadcast.
So are you ready?
Yeah.
Nice.
Ready. Got a chance to meet all the riders, get their history a little bit, get the backstories.
What Evan think? Did he like EnduroCross?
He just liked everyone crashing all the time. So he just laughed the whole time because people were crashing. And he had a good time. We had a good time. It was a good little boys' trip. Hotel was right next to the stadium or arena, so we were able to go back and forth. I did, however, lose my debit card. I left it at Olive Garden. I had to call Chase and cancel the card and get a new one.
That's annoying.
Pretty bummed.
That sucks.
No, there's a lot of problems with that. I have a lot of things with that card on file.
Right. It's
going to cause a lot of problems over the next month.
Yeah. And you don't even know half of them until you get an email saying, hey, your payment was declined.
Exactly. So, pretty frustrating.
And you're like, what's my password? Ah, damn it. Maggie, what's my password?
She don't know. Happy with you, though, right now. Look at you. So this is 2000 Anaheim Supercross, McGrath, Carmichael, Wyndham. I love how I come in here now every week and you're just like hitting up different timelines and throwing on different things now that you got your fancy TV.
Yeah.
What made you pick 2000? Just because the Ricky Jeremy battle? And
always hear good things about the early 2000s, so figured I'd go back in time and do a little history lesson.
What do you think about the track? This is Anaheim and it is super hard pack. This was before Anaheim brought in some good dirt. Actually, a couple times now have brought in new dirt. But back in the early 2000, like late 90s, early 2000, I mean, you see how just slick and kind of crappy it was?
Mm-hmm.
I actually like it. I think the racing was better with dry, slick dirt like that. You could see him making more mistakes. I've talked about that before in the show, and I'll probably get to that today. We have a cool show for you. We're going to talk about the sport in general. Listener questions is more of a listener statement and getting everyone's opinions on what they think you could do to grow the sport. Just thought that'd be a fun conversation for today, and I'm sure I'll get into that one eventually. But otherwise, how are you? Good weekend?
Oh, yeah, bud.
Raiders lost?
Good stuff. Barely, but they did.
Barely only counts in what?
So did the Cowboys. No, I'm just kidding. I know
Cowboys
they didn't
had a
play.
bye week.
I know they did.
Can't lose on a bye week. So it was a win. Anyways, yeah, it'll be a fun show. Listener questions came in. That's a Scott Prospect, which, by the way, looking into the future, probably going to be changing the name of this segment to the Scott Fury listener questions, because the Scott goggles, they just released their new Fury goggle, which show it's the Prospect, but it's like a little brother to the Prospect. So it uses the same lens, but has a little bit more affordable package around it. Gets into a lower price bracket. So they have kind of like the intro level Prospect. So I talked to John Knowles this week, and he said, hey, why don't we change the name of that segment up to the Scott Fury listener questions? So maybe for next year we'll do that. But anyways, yeah, let's let it rip, have some fun, talk about the sport in ways that we think that we could make it better, we could grow it. I'm curious. I haven't actually looked at anyone's response to the Instagram post. So bring it on. Let's have some fun, and then let's let our listeners know if they're onto something or if they're on crack.
And then we're doing a gift card?
Yeah.
All right.
I'd say, what do you want the terms to be on that? Best idea? Craziest idea?
We'll do the top 5, pick a name, and there you go.
Most entertaining idea?
Yeah, one. A little bit of everything.
All right, let's do it. It's your Scott Prospect, soon to be Fury listener questions.
RH22 with the whole shot. He says, make PEDs legal.
He's got to be joking. That's from my buddy Ryan. We've talked about that kind of off and on. What do you actually think about that? I mean, I believe you can't do that. There's going to be guys that would be willing to go for it, and then the ones that aren't, you can't gyp them when people, for moral reasons, religious reasons, physical reasons, don't want to go that far. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have a rule book. I think the rule book's fine in place for what's allowed and not allowed, right?
If you want to have PEDs be legal, you have to set up a separate league that PEDs are okay for. NFL, XFL, it'd be like as if the XFL said, have at it, boys. Steroids, PCP, whatever you want to do. It's all good in the XFL. And it's your choice if you want to go to that league or not.
But in the official one and only league of Supercross, it can't be Wild West like that.
No, it can't be.
No, Ryan, that was funny.
Not bad, though.
But no, you can't do it. I actually think that the rules are all in place, I think, pretty good. It's mostly just the punishment that I think is pretty goofy. And I think everybody would agree with that we're a little off on our punishment. Just, you got the NFL where guys get busted for using, banned substances. They're out for 2 to 4 weeks. In our sport, you're out for literally 30 years, it seems like. Yep, you're gone forever. So I think that's the biggest problem, but that's just kind of what the sport has been attached to. And I'm assuming that there's probably an urgency to change that because it seems like it's been a topic the last few years. So the rules are good. The punishment that's got to change, in my opinion. That would make things a lot better. Next one.
G Wells 250. What's up, y'all?
What's up?
To grow the sport, I would suggest events to be more than just racing. Have longer weekend events with music, dinners, and overall make a more family atmosphere that creates family memories rather than just a path for a kid to get a pro license. Kind of like Mini-O's used to be during Thanksgiving time. Love the show, and don't forget AC9 2020 champ. Let's go.
Damn. So Mini-O's is still going on, and for Joe, for you, you've probably never heard that term before.
Nope.
Tell right now. So the Mini-O's is like, it's a mini Olympics for racing. It's been around for a long time. I don't know if it's as popular now as it was in its prime, but I think it still is. It's Thanksgiving weekend. It's in Florida. Big amateur national, pretty much the last big one of the year. They have Supercross racing for like 3 days and then outdoor racing for 3 days. And there's a lot of... They even used to have like an off-road enduro day or two. Anyways, it's more of a week-long amateur national with a lot of different disciplines. Thanksgiving is a part of it, so everyone's there at the track to kind of eat. It's more of a... I would say as an amateur national, it was more designed around the event than just around the racing itself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what he's saying as far as Supercross and Motocross goes, is try to make them a little bit more like that.
I think he's saying more like make every weekend of a Supercross race more like a festival. Make it longer. He says have music, like make it like a festival, like where you'd have some big bands playing, maybe.
I mean, I could see that, but the problem is just the scheduling. I mean, I guess they do that with the futures now because they have amateur racing on Sunday. I see your point, but I don't know how it's possible. I don't know if it would draw enough to be worth getting it in there. You know what I mean?
Make it more of an event.
It's expensive. So how are you gonna draw people in on Friday and Sunday? Mm-hmm. The amateur stuff will bring it in on Sundays a little bit, mostly racers, not really fans. And Friday, I don't really see people coming out for any other reason than maybe the diehards that already do to try to maybe meet a rider or something like that. Or I mean, it would have to be a major overhaul, and it would probably be a lot more expensive to run an extra day of activities. Remember they tried doing the Moto Fest back in Atlanta a couple of years ago, where they had Arena Cross on Friday on half the track, Supercross Saturday, and amateur on Sunday, and I think it was a success overall. But I don't know if you could do that every weekend. I don't think every market would draw. They did Atlanta because Atlanta has that crazy draw. So maybe you could get away with it. Anaheim won a Vegas, obviously, an Atlanta, maybe in Arlington, because I know the Dallas market's big, but I don't think you're going to have that draw in Detroit where you could pull off 3-day events.
Yeah.
Or even Indy, or some of these stadiums like St. Louis where the access isn't there. I think it would have to, maybe Daytona, you could do. I like what he's saying. It would have to be select events where you could pull it off. And they already are kind of doing that. Daytona's got the Ricky Carmichael amateur day, then you know what I mean? So it would be hard to pull off full time, but maybe something like that a couple times a year, you know? I agree with that. Next one.
Rube_85, kids under 12 get in free.
You know, I really don't even know what the ticket situation is. I've obviously either been racing or working there, so I don't even know what the ticket pricing is, but
Yeah. The life of privilege. Check your white privilege at the door, buddy.
I guess. Sorry. That would actually, I mean, I don't know how that would work out math-wise, but it's not a bad idea. That's how you get more people involved. I'm telling you right now, if you want to get more people involved in the sport and grow it, you've got to be patient and you got to go after the youth. It's like the same model as the cigarette companies, but obviously not for bad reasons.
Now you're talking.
Go out. Now I'm speaking your language.
Yeah.
Right?
Philip Morris.
You know what I mean? You got to go after the kids. That's who eventually becomes the riders and racers. I mean, Addison Sorello is a prime story. He was watching Supercross on TV. His family didn't even have a background in it. He was literally watching it like we are right now and watching Jeremy McGrath. And he said, I want to do that. All right, we'll go do that. Well, that's your most recent pro winner at a big race. I mean, that's Monster Cup's winner. A kid with no family background in the sport who literally watched it on TV as just a little 4 or 5-year-old. So if you want to grow the sport, you got to have like a 10-year plan and patience and make sure you start with the youth and grow more riders, more fans. I mean, and they do that for the most part. I remember when I was doing Arena Cross, they would always do press things like the day or two before, and they would go to schools and they'd go to the YMCA and they would go and like introduce dirt bikes and give away free tickets, to schools where they would have 20 kids come. And so I know that is part of the general plan. And for the most part, I'm sure it works. I know they still do it. So I agree. I think, man, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it at some point. I think it's the participation by the youth, the 50 class. I think we need, more affordable 50 racing. I don't know, somehow. I don't even know how you do that. Maybe
there's a lot of statements in here about that stuff.
I figure
so
we'll
you're
get to that.
getting ahead of yourself.
All right.
By Moto Fab's probably got the best one ever to me. I think this will go, if I can choose one of the 5, Poppy. He says, exhibition race at Super Bowl halftime.
Exhibition race. What's he mean by that, though?
Well, he doesn't expound on this,
KTM
but
Junior.
Literally at the Super Bowl halftime, have like
at the Super
Monster
Bowl.
Energy Cup, like boom, right there, exhibition race.
I'm sure the majority of the football people wouldn't even know what it is and probably wouldn't like it. What the hell?
They'd probably love it more than watching Maroon 5 and
Katy Perry.
Pick a random rapper that they choose to have on stage with them. Travis Scott. They'd probably like it better than that shit.
Probably. But even then, if you were to probably just poll the general public, they'd probably rather see someone do a backflip. In all honesty, after all these years.
You're bringing the truth hammer down.
Well, it hurts, but it's the truth. I mean, honestly, like, this sport took it. It had a big jump a couple years ago, and a lot of that jump had to do with the freestyle movement that went along with it. That's what opened more eyes, and that's because the general public isn't into racing as much. They like stick and ball sports. They like that, whatever. But seeing a guy do a backflip, that's some daredevil stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That had a bigger appeal to general fans of general sports. The fans of this sport come from more of a racing background. So that's why I know I'm going to jump the gun because people are going to say this. I think there needs to be more cross promotion at NASCAR events. Have some select exhibition type races like a Monster Cup style race, at a NASCAR event or an IndyCar event. I think that's where we should be cross promoting more for the racing fans, because racing fans love racing, and I think that's where we need to be. Which I've always actually found confusing. Why we always have guest commentators and guests in the building. They're always NASCAR guys, or IndyCar guys. We'll have them in the booth even. Stenhouse Jr. last year, whatever. That's cool, but that means our audience is seeing those guys. how about their audience seeing our guys? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how about have Adam Cincerello, because he's the one guy who can really, really articulate the sport, have him go and guest call a NASCAR race or an IndyCar race. It would be great representation for the sport to be like, holy crap. I think that would open up their fan base to us more than we are opening up our fan base to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, NASCAR's way bigger. So why are NASCAR guys coming to our events and kind of advertising, the NASCAR brand when they're way bigger? We should be trying to get in on that anyway. I don't know how that all works, but I think if we had some representation at bigger racing events, I think that would be better. And I wish X Games came back with Supercross too. It had it for a couple of years. It went away. I get it, but I thought that was kind of cool. Back in 08, 9, 10, I think is when it was.
Look at this guy. He looks like a tough guy.
That is Mike LaRocco. You know who that is?
No. I know LaRocco's Leap.
That's him. That's The Rock.
That's the one it's named after.
That's The Rock right there.
This is a good point, though. Look, this race is on ESPN2 when it first came out.
Yeah, back in the early 2000s, before
that's a big difference, too. Like, having it on a regular sports channel that can be seen by a lot of people that are just leaving it on ESPN or ESPN2 all day.
Well,
no matter what's on.
To your point, when Supercross or Motocross is on NBC versus
course.
NBCSN,
yeah, totally.
It's 3 or 4 times the numbers.
Sure, you're on a regular network at that point. That's kind of my point. You put it on a more regular network like an ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN8, the Ocho, people are going to see it.
Right. I wonder what the numbers were back then. And you got to remember, these weren't live back then either. These were recorded, edited, and put out later. I don't remember when live actually started. I remember the time. I just can't remember exact dates, but I remember being like, oh my God, we're getting a couple live. And then all of a sudden they're all live.
That's crazy,
that was
dude.
in a transition of back when I was racing.
Yeah.
But these weren't. This right here was not live on ESPN2.
Right. But in the year 2000, I guess you could go online and see the results if you went to a website.
Yeah.
But you couldn't
you
couldn't pull out your little buddy, your little new heroin addiction, your iPhone, and then immediately just click on your button and then see all the results.
Right. And I wonder what's going to happen too, because as you're proving right now, just in your general life, you've just abandoned regular TV. You deleted it all. And now you have streaming service and all the different streaming, whatever. 10 years from now, is there 10, 15, 20? When is regular TV just gone? When is it only streaming services and you can stream Supercross through NBCSN or Fox or ESPN, whatever, or through its own channel? When does that day come when TV is just gone?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever fully go away. It'll be a long time, but probably, eventually, I'm talking 50, 60 years from now, it'll be
50,
gone.
50, 60?
I think so, man. There's a lot of people out there, dude. My in-laws still use an antenna.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because they don't know any different?
No, they've tried other things. They've had digital, they've had cable, satellite, whatever, and now it's an HD antenna, of course, which just means that they get the channels in high def, but it's still just regular network channels that come across the airwaves that they can get on their television.
I mean, just think about how quickly things went from, the original iPod,
Yeah, the way you said that is
it's
so forward.
So sarcastic.
iPod.
Well, it took me a minute. The iPod.
The iPod.
The iPod. But, dude, it went from, the record player.
Yeah.
That all Joe Biden's fans still
apparently need to listen to.
still listen to.
The record player at night.
Play a record player. To to tapes, to CDs.
Yeah.
To the iPod.
Right.
And now streaming on Spotify. And pretty soon, dude, you're just going to press a button on the side of your head and you're going to listen to whatever you want to listen to.
That's the truth.
You're going to have an antenna coming out of your skull.
It's coming.
So what I'm saying is you're saying 50 years till the TVs are, dude.
Till it's completely gone? I would say so, yeah, because there's a lot of holdouts. Think about it. I have records. I still listen to records.
Okay, maybe they'll exist, but I'm saying when the general public
doesn't
is
do
a majority
TV anymore.
is just doing what you're like.
The kids are already there, but what I'm saying is people probably our age and older who still got a good 50, 60 years hopefully ahead of us, probably.
Right.
There will still be people using television as we know it with legacy media channels like your NBC, your ABC, Fox.
They're all going to change eventually, dude. It's just coming. I think it's quicker. I think within 10 years.
Wow.
I think within 10 years, it's just better.
What do you mean? Are you saying like within 10 years, no more television channels?
No more DirecTV. No more them.
No more cable?
No more cable. I think they're gone.
Well, I mean, they already are, basically. Everything goes through the internet now. You can get cable news, or not cable news, excuse me, but cable channels just through the internet. You have, DirecTV without a satellite dish. You have DirecTV with just a direct internet connection. It's basically like cable again.
Sort of. I just, what you have right now, where all you do is talk into your remote and you tell where you want to, what you want, and you just stream off of all these different things.
That's what all the kids use, because we're just watching this on YouTube on my TV right now. It's just like as if we just set up a computer and did it.
Exactly. I mean, there literally could be a day where YouTube is playing NFL games, and
they already do.
Live?
They already play basketball. Yeah, of course. YouTube TV, they play all that stuff.
See, that's what I'm saying. Within 10 years,
your regular network channels are going to go away?
It's all going to be on live streaming apps.
Which will be owned by NBC, ABC,
Yep, they'll have their
CBS.
own. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They'll all have
they
their
already
own.
do. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is everything will be live. You'll be able to choose everything you want. You're not going to have to wait till tomorrow. There will be no replay. It'll be
if that's your question, then the answer is we're already there. It's already here.
And I'm saying when that
we're
is
75% of the way there already.
From now on, where it don't matter. Again, I mean, like with the NBC Gold app, when it's live, you can watch it and you can press play whenever you can start a half hour late. You can whatever. There is no such thing as, this is coming out on TV. Then there's not like the shows, Netflix. I mean, damn near half the shows come out in a whole series. They're already done. The whole series is done sometimes.
Yeah, Netflix started that, and I love that.
Yeah, because I don't like waiting around.
But it also, though, to contradict me liking it, sometimes it kind of cheapens it in a way. Because when you had to wait a week, the anticipation, you talked about it with your buddies or with your people at work, at the water cooler, and you're all getting ready for that new episode of Sopranos that's coming out in a week. And so when you have all 13 of them dumped on you in one night, you watch them over the course of a weekend, and then by Tuesday you're like, what else is there to watch? And you've already forgot about it.
Well, and then you're searching, and then you're unsatisfied, and I know there's
like when your favorite show Breaking Bad first came out on AMC, you had to wait a week to watch an episode.
Yeah, but AMC was different, or that was different for me because I didn't even start it until season 3 was going. I watched season 1 and 2, caught up to 3.
But still, you had to wait a week in between episodes
just to get caught up to 3. I burned through 2.5 seasons quick to get caught up.
What I'm saying, though, there's something special about having to wait, and there's something special about anticipation.
No, I agree. But yeah, that's what I'm saying is when you're watching, again, we went from having it on ESPN2 next day or next week to live, on NBCSN, but not NBC, the channel, every week. And pretty soon it won't be like that. And that might actually be a bad thing. Because right now, when it's on, people it's what's on. As soon as everyone has their unlimited options all the time, then how are new people going to watch it? Because it's not going to be forced to be on Channel 3 or whatever.
Even now, though, I'm just going to DVR it and watch it when I have time.
I'm saying new people. Some people are watching NBC, and then their show or their racing or their college football, whatever is college basketball is over. They go to the kitchen, make some food, come back and go, oh, what's this? I mean, I don't think that's as much as people say, but that's because they're still on the channel they're watching. Someday when that's not like that, it won't just stream into the next thing. You'll have to click.
Right, you'll have to go
watch.
find it. I see what you mean. And so you'll have to things will have to catch a buzz. Sort of like podcasts. You'll hear about this awesome podcast Serial talking about Adnan Syed and if he actually killed his girlfriend or whatever. And your buddies are talking about it, so then you go find it. But you're not being...
That's not popping up in my feed and
it's
starting
not
to play
automatically showing up.
as I'm sitting there.
It's not on just the next show
so
that's
what
going
I'm
to pop
saying
up.
is you are not going to accidentally catch people.
So you'll rely on buzz and word of mouth, and people will advertise, of course. Like if you want to check out Supercross, click on this app or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be
interesting.
I mean, the channel. I mean, think about this too. I mean, say in the future it's on NBCSN's Gold app, whatever only. Dude, they'll be able to cut after it's all done every single race individually to where you could probably share it. You could just, to your buddies, share the heat race. Dude, you got to check out this heat race, dude. This is great. Boom, you can just share it through the phone. Just, You know how you have the share button right now for
Sure.
YouTube?
Yeah.
You'll be able to just share individual motos, even like a 3-minute cut, whatever. It's going to be so much easier to spread the word, but there'll be less accidental growth in fans from it popping up.
Gotcha. So everything will have to be with more intention.
More intention.
You'll have to be showing it to the algorithms will show it to who they think will be interested in watching it. It's just like any ad on the internet or social media.
Right.
The algorithm tells me, dude, perfect example of this, and then we got to take a break, bro.
Okay.
Because we have 108 questions to get to.
We're not...
So we go to the cabin last week. Me and Ashley, we celebrate our anniversary. They have this chair in the cabin, dude. So nice and comfortable. It's not like nice as in brand new. It's just really good quality. It's like a lounge chair thing. I loved it. Never looked anything up about it. I swear to you on the whatever you want to swear on. All I said to Ashley was, I really like that chair in the cabin. Next day, Instagram, scrolling. There's an ad for the chair just like the one in the cabin.
Wow. So you think your phone heard you?
I don't know how else to, I don't know what else to, give credit for that to happen. Now, all the research I've done on this over the past has said that the algorithm is just that good that it knows
There's no
when to
possible
anticipate.
way. They
But
didn't
how
know
would
you were going to that place? with that chair.
exactly? How would they have known that was? I mean, dude, it was almost the exact same chair down to the color.
That's creepy. I don't like that. All right, let's take a break.
Main event moto.
Let's be real. Kids and adults like things that taste good. What if you had a food that tasted unreal and was healthy?
Dad, get me some Nature's Bakery.
What flavor, Evan?
Any, duh.
Seriously, my kid is a pain when it comes to track snacks, but since we started eating Nature's Bakery, it's gotten a lot easier.
But Dad, don't you always call Mom a track snack?
That's not what I mean, Evan. Make sure you eat Nature's Bakery when you're at the track. Convenience is everything to us in the Bat Cave, and that's why we rock a key bar and no toil filters. Trust producer Joe, you're sick of that jingle jangle in your pocket.
Yes, sir. Just go get a key bar, like your Bat Bros.
And if you're not using no toil filters, you probably still have a flip phone. They make one of the worst bike chores easy. Throw the filter in the wash machine with your ladies' panties, and they'll never be cleaner. Get with the program and get a key bar and switch to no toil. Pay attention, Motoheads. I'm a picky SOB, especially when it comes to products on my son's bike. That's why we run Mika bars, sprockets and chains, and a gut seat cover. It is not even negotiable. Look, if you care about quality and performance on your bike, you'll be running Mika metals and gut seats and covers. And if you don't, you're a what, Evan?
A noob like Uncle Vincent.
Main event moto podcast.
Welcome back. Head over to skivvy.com, skvi.com. Use the code MAINEVENT to save on undies, Joe. I need some new ones, man.
Me too.
I'll wear these things out.
Seriously.
I'm gonna hit Scummy up. I need some fresh drawers. Go to gutsracing.com. Use the code MAINEVENTMOTO for 20% off. Go to keybar.us and use the code MOTO20 and get yourself a key bar. And Rep Racing actually this past weekend raced the first round of their PCAX Arena Cross series, and I was not there. I'm bummed. Probably wouldn't have raced anyway, though, because Evan is making the transition right now from 50 to 65, and he needs a little more time before he's going to go
All these kids
race.
transitioning, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this one's a little more normal, I'd say. I mean, most 8-year-olds to 9-year-olds, this is about when it happens, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It's when they start experimenting with clutches and gears and stuff. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, let's get back at it. These are improvements or ways to improve or grow the sport through the Motoheads. What you got? What's the next one?
This guy's your winner right here. Bryson P04. Let J-Law ride.
You could write him down for me as a possible.
I knew it.
Here's the thing. Letting him ride is one thing. I don't know where that dude is. And people I know that know him have given me mixed messages. So I don't know where the dude is. I hope he's doing good. Hope he is kind of grown into the next chapter of his life. Maybe a little bit mellower chapter than the last one. But I actually have zero information. And you know what's funny, Joe, is go back to the beginning of this show. I offered J-Law $1,000 to come on Main Event Moto back in like the first year we were doing this.
I remember that.
And he was kind of almost sort of acting like he was kind of willing to.
Yeah.
And then never responded, just ghosted me.
Maybe we should add another 0 to that.
It's not worth it. I mean, I would love to hear from the guy, but not that much.
Motoheads, if you want it done.
Wait, should we do a GoFundMe?
That's right.
Let J-Law talk.
Yeah.
$10,000.
That's the goal.
Nah, because he'll probably end up taking the $10,000 and then never talk. So we'll end up getting screwed.
He doesn't get it until after the show.
Well, then we'll have it. We'll be sitting on $10,000. I don't like that either. Knowing you.
Hayden Ferguson 327. We need more personalities. We need more Vince Freeseys. Who don't give a shit, and will blow somebody out and not blink an eye. Also, more punk ass kids like J-Law.
Dude, 2 votes for J-Law, huh?
Yeah.
I don't really see anyone coming up that gnarly, dude. That's a generational human being. I don't see any of that. What we do need is some straight rivalries, though. Some hatred at the top. And I'm hoping that this next generation has some of that spice. But I don't know. I mean, it's like even like the football players, like when teams or basketball players have beef. Like remember when Ron Artest, who did he fight? When he went into the Palace in Detroit and he went into the fans and punched a bunch of fans.
Yeah, that's them.
We need someone like that, dude. Are you out there?
The Ron Artest, Dennis Rodman.
We need the Rodmans and Artests of basketball in Moto. Problem is though, like anyone that gnarly probably won't be very successful. The sport's too gnarly to be that reckless. You know what I mean? I don't think that personality would work in our sport. We had one, J-Law. He lasted like 3 years. He was gone. Couldn't even. He was winning and he couldn't even handle it.
Maybe somebody like that, but with a fewer, less, from what I've heard, just alleged internal problems.
Maybe someone like that who's actually just an actor and it's programmed. Someone that can flip the switch on and off behind the scenes, dude. He's Ryan Dungey. Then you go public, dude, and the dude's nuts. I mean, honestly, if there was a writer out there that actually had the skill set to be a top 10 guy, but was willing to literally just be an actor and be nuts, he would probably be the most famous guy in the sport within 2 years. Just from being nuts, dude. Get DQ'd a couple times for weird stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Could you imagine some dude gets fined by Gallagher and fights him on live TV? Like, he's probably in big trouble. He's also probably your most famous guy, like, within a month.
Right.
But imagine if he's like really a good dude, and then behind the scenes, he's just all like, I was smart. He's got like some like puppet string master who just tells him what to do. All right, this week, you're going to go fight. Who's the biggest and the baddest right now?
You're just wanting a writer who has a very creative publicist and who knows how to market.
And a writer who is willing to just do whatever the publicist says and has a good lawyer. You know, and that's why I said you're not going to see it, but that would be you need a full blown actor. You know, some of that would be willing to go nutsoid publicly, but privately they're just normal and it's all strategic. But not in this sport, ain't gonna happen. I swear, I think some of these football guys and basketball guys are like that a little bit. I think that they are. Their managers are like they push them to be a little out there on purpose. I mean, not like Rodman was doing it fake. Rodman is still weird. You know what I mean? But I could see certain players that are a little over the top on purpose. Strategically, I think it's smart.
Totally.
Makes you different.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Florida Man 330. We need more exposure. We need a half-hour-long pre-race show, have a highlight show during the week, and have major sports networks cover it. We have a great sport. We just need more eyes, and more eyes is more money.
I agree. The only problem is we've had more eyes at different times, and it's like never really worked. You know what I mean? I agree, but it's got to be for like a long period of time. It's got to be like a committed approach. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's hard to capture eyes right now. People are into what they're into. And that's why my belief is you don't need like whatever. What do you, when you think of this sport, Joe, what do you think the demographic is? Age-wise.
Oh, of fans?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's from little guys, 8 years old, all the way up to 60, 65-year-old dudes, everything in between.
Okay, so you talk about algorithms all the time and how they're pre-predicting. This sport, like I said, needs to target and go after the future demographic, which I believe is honestly probably majority, 21 to 4. I mean, if you go in the fans at a stadium now, dude, it's a lot of 21 to 40. You know what I mean? Right there, you're middle-aged. Of course, you got some kids there. You've got some, older dudes there that just love the sport. That 21 to 40. Well, in 10 years, it's the 11 to 20-year-olds right now that are going to be the demographic. That's why I think those need to be targeted, and the athletes need to be going and developing a fan base around that age, and it's just a commitment over the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. And that's why I truly do believe, as much as some people want to give him a hard time, what Deegan's are doing with their kid, Danger Boy, dude, Danger Boy will probably bring in more fans than any of the current riders are. Go look at the YouTube channel, the Instagram of that kid. Dude, they're creating a character as a kid, and the fan base is starting young, and when he gets in there, he's going to have a huge fan base, and their reach will be bigger because of the sister and what she does in car racing, because of Brian's background. I really do think there's a generation coming of riders that are not there yet that are going to have a way bigger impact in the big picture, because their reach will go outside of just this, and their fan base is starting young. I mean, Ryder DiFrancesco right now, his fan base is, I would love to actually look at the numbers and see what his fan base is and who follows him and watches what he does compared to some of the top guys in our sport right now. Guarantees bigger. He's a kid. So that's why I think it's a long-term commitment over the next 10 years in going after the next generation of fans. And you just got to be patient and hope that it all works out in the end, because I don't think you're going to get anyone new. If you're a 25-year-old dude right now and you do not watch Supercross, it's going to take some serious push from a friend to get him involved. They're not just going to get involved randomly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think you gotta. It's got to start young, and we got to start the next generation of riders and fans, and then hope that the next wave reaps the rewards off it. That's my opinion on the fan base.
ADK Angler, he says chase format for championships, and in some way,
give him the gift card.
And in some way, combine the Supercross and Motocross season for an overall champ. Allow a throwaway race to keep championships tight and viewers needing more.
I have no problem with everything you said. The likelihood isn't there, but imagine that, Joe. If Supercross and Outdoor was just one big, long series, you did get a throwaway, and there was a chase format. See, the chase format, as much as I love it, I have grown out of my obsession with it, mainly because this generation of rider is so inconsistent. I mean, think about it. Did anyone pick Anderson to win the title? No. Did anyone pick Webb to win the title? No. We have literally 6 guys next year that I think could be considered favorites. And when it's that top-heavy, I'm less interested in doing the reset and the points. The reset and the points, the reason why I was so into it, and still am to a degree, is because of the Ryans, Villapoto and Dungey. They really ruined championships. It was always being clinched a week early. They were so dominant. They would win. I mean, it was one guy and a bunch of people chasing them. Now you have 5 or 6 guys who could be the guy on any given night, and it doesn't really work with this model of athlete. Even in EnduroCross, the reason why they did it probably was because Tyler Bowers was winning everything. Like, he was clinching it week or 2 early. It was the championships were a joke at the end.
Right.
And lately look at what the finals we've gotten. It's been coming down way more to the last race, even though Webb had a little bit of a gap, Anderson had a little bit of a gap. For the most part, the season was pretty damn competitive all the way deep and wasn't clinched a week early. That's the reason why you do a chase, is to eliminate that. And I don't think this current crop of riders has the consistency or has the everything it factor, because you know that every top guy has like different things that they're really good at, but none of them have it all. This current group of riders, I don't think, has the ability to clinch early. It's just there's too many good guys and they have too many faults. So the chase format doesn't work for me. Putting the outdoor and indoor together would be great, but the likelihood is
I think that's a great idea. Shorten both seasons and have an overall champ.
You would like that?
Yeah.
So less Supercrosses and less outdoors.
Combine
them all.
and then have an overall champ.
Yeah, again, like the likelihood of that is probably somewhere around J-Law coming on this podcast.
Oh, okay. So it's a go.
I mean, you got to find the dude. He's in the woods somewhere riding trail. I don't know what he's doing. So you see how hard that's going to be?
I do.
Well, that's how hard that would be too. So I like it though, but it's the likelihood is not there.
My favorite Instagram handle has a great idea. Bedtime Savage 69. He says one word, Gator Pits.
Well,
even though it's 2 words.
Yeah. Well, duh. Gator Pits would be dope, but we talked about that. Gators are slow and lazy, and I don't think they're going to do much. We need hippo pits, right?
Hey,
a little bit more dangerous?
Yeah.
No?
I mean, they kill more people, but no way. Crocs with alligator pit would be way crazier. Hey, Palmer 547, crash compilation commercials on NFL Sundays.
That would probably work. Like I said, the sad part is if you're going after the general public, your best bet is crash videos and backflips. Straight up. I mean, honestly, just take yourself all the way out of it, Joe. Go back a few years before you even really, whatever. Seeing somebody bust a double backflip is probably a little bit more intriguing than watching two guys battle it out in a couple berms back and forth, right? I mean, you, for someone that didn't know anything at that point.
Yeah.
Just, that would catch your eye more. If you're scrolling through and you saw that, you would pause for a little longer.
Yeah, probably.
And that's, again, that's why stop going after the general public.
You got to go after race fans.
Yes,
fans
the general public
of
wants
racing
nothing
sports.
to do with this sport. They don't. I mean, it's...
Cold, hard truth.
How long do you have to be around? I mean, how long have we been around? And there's general people right now that have zero clue what Supercross is. I mean, that's because, honestly, this sport does not relate to the general viewer. It doesn't. People that have never grown up, their families don't ride motorcycles. They've never ridden motorcycles. They don't even ride bicycles. There is no attraction to those people. So stop targeting those people. That's why I'm saying target race fans and target the youth who are still exploring what they want to be. Dude, go to the schools and do like motorcycle demos, whatever. Like local pros should be doing that. Like I don't know how they could make it worth it for them. But going to local schools and doing a demo and you know, showing little kids, because not every kid can play football. And like Evan right now. Evan sucks at football, basketball, baseball, and soccer. He just does. We've tried in the backyard. He's just a squid. He has no chance. And if he didn't have me as a dad, he wouldn't know anything about racing. But he's the target type of kid that you could go after and be like, look, I know you don't like those other sports. You should get into this.
You don't like those other sports, maybe this one will be something you like.
And maybe you won't even do it, but you'll like it.
Well, we have a lot of comments that I've been skipping about affordability to break into the sport, which is a major hurdle. But I haven't been reading those because we're talking about how to grow it, not what are the problems.
Yeah, but I think one of the things to grow it is...
like our boy Michael Garachi says, like, make bikes cheaper, make them less expensive. Make entry into the sport more affordable.
That's the problem. The manufacturers have raced each other to the top, and they've abandoned the general rider. Straight up. I mean, Evan's 65 is more expensive than my 250F was back in like 04.
Boom, here's another one. J. Bauer 105, a Ford Ranger that doesn't cost $50K and a two-stroke that doesn't cost $8K.
Yeah, it's true. And I don't know the reasoning. I don't know the margins. I don't know any of that. So I don't know why the manufacturers have done what they've done, but they have definitely, without question, priced most people out of the sport. And that's why participation has gone down. And I've said on the show for years, there's a lot of mistakes that I feel that they've made. The way they've abandoned racing, the contingencies are so little compared to what they used to be. Even the amateur support, there used to be way more amateur support through dealerships. But now each factory team has like 3 kids that they dump $100,000 on a year, and then the rest are the people they don't care about. You know what I mean? Like the manufacturers have really, really messed up racing, in my opinion. And they've probably, they're responsible for the bikes too. The fact that there's $12,000 450s now, it's just, and I get it. The performance has gone up. But maybe you're right. One of these manufacturers needs to make an entry-level bike that more people can get into. But then again, who's going to buy it? Because everybody wants to buy the baddest and the best and the coolest.
Yeah, you don't want to show up to the track and be made fun of because you bought the crappy entry-level bike, right?
Right, and then you're not cool, and then you'd rather not do it. And it's not as competitive, but that's not even true. I could hop on an 07 Honda 450 right now, me personally, and probably be similar in speed that I could on a brand new one because they were pretty badass back then. But now they're double in cost because they have all these cool things about them. Well, the cool things really don't make them that much better. If anything, they just make them a little bit gnarlier, more dangerous, if anything. So it's one of those things where they went too far and they're not going to come back. And then, again, the two-stroke thing is just, I mean, we live in California, Joe. Is it going to go the other way? No. I mean, it's getting crazier here to even do anything. Don't be, again, as soon as the electric thing takes off, dude, they're going to get rid of four-strokes too in the state. California will be the first to do it. It'll be the first to do it. Well, they were literally banned dirt bikes because they make noise. You got to ride an electric bike. That's what will happen. And if you think I'm wrong, then you don't know California. Trust me. They're already thinking about it.
All right.
That sucks.
All right. Charlie D, what it be? Privateers need to get paid by the promoter! ! Then he has like 4 more exclamation points.
That sounds like a personal want. I'm just wondering how that grows a sport.
It says when factory teams start folding, the only way the sport as we know can go on is if the promoter starts paying the riders.
Factory teams aren't folding. That's like always been talked about. It's always been, the sport is struggling. Look at the teams. That's not true. The one that's struggling is JGR, and it's because they align themselves with a manufacturer that's been having trouble for 15 years. So the truth is Cowie's not struggling, neither is Honda, neither is Yamaha, and neither is Husqvarna and KTM. The factory teams are doing just fine. When you are paying riders $3 million a year in salary, you're doing just fine. That's way bigger numbers than the guys got back in the day, and they're doing just fine. So I know what you're saying, and I'm with you. I wish the privateers all made more money so they can make a better living and it's be more worth the risk. But at the same time, that's not. It's supply and demand. That's not changing anything. The entry lists are still full every single year. At least in Supercross. Outdoor, I know had that one rough year where everything was kind of slow, but I think that was 3 years ago, where the entries were pretty low on the West Coast. But even then, you go to the East Coast and there's 80 or 90. Dude, this is a passion sport. Guys will do it. To make it pro and race Supercross and not make that much money as a privateer, it's worth it to a lot of people. It was to me. It was cool. I'd rather do that than get a job for 10 years. So, again, supply and demand. And until the sport is ran out and depleted of riders, that'll never change. Why would it? They're showing up in droves. So, next one.
JR Britt 66. I personally have 5 buds that will start riding if DB gets back on the saddle. Hashtag will DB grow the sport.
Nope.
RH22.
Actually, I will. Someday I will get a bike and become a dirt bike rider again someday. In fact, I already told you, my next bike, I'm getting a Super Mini. When Evan's like pretty fast on a 65, I'm going to get a Super Mini because I'll fit it perfectly. And then I can ride with him. And I can ride in the mini practice with him and stuff the daylights out of him. teach him how to race dirty. Kid will be a dirtbag when I get done freaking training him.
No doubt.
But I'm not there yet. Not into it yet.
RH22's got a great idea. He comes back and says, get Daniel Blair on the Joe Rogan podcast.
That'd be cool, but I'd probably end up getting in trouble. So, I don't know. I put that one away. That idea away for a while. Next one.
J. Beerbauer 105. GP day and the dirt type events. Waiting all day at the track for 8 motos sucks. More seat time, less waiting around.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is I got a bunch of friends that are even like Evan's friends, little kids that race, whatever. They do a lot of the like little off-road races that'll come through, and they love it. There's a million people out there. They ride 5 times more than a regular race. It's just not the same vibe. It's not as competitive. People aren't even the kids. The kids that do it, they don't like it. They beg their dad to not go. They'd rather go to the moto track and just practice than race those kinds of races. So it's a different demographic of rider than your typical like hardcore racer. They don't go to those. They're not into it as much. But I understand the point. Next one.
Rad Shirley. He says, quit closing down places to ride. I know it's all part of it to spend time with your family, friends in a truck to get to a track an hour and a half away. But when you have a full-time job and kids, especially little ones, it's nice to drive 30 minutes down the road, ride until 1, and get home to still have the whole day ahead of you. Make it more accessible to the blue-collar man.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me to answer on because I don't know every market, but I know that there are areas where the nearest track is 2 hours away. It's not as
What's your
available.
closest when you go with
Dude, so I'm 45 minutes from Hangtown, Prairie City. Rep Racing runs E Street. R for Rep is Riverfront, E is for E Street, P is Prairie City. Those are his 3 tracks. I'm an hour and 15 from Riverfront and E Street, 45 minutes from Prairie City. There's Argyle, Club Moto, MMX, Diablo. I mean, there's 6 or 7 tracks for me within an hour and a half. So we don't feel that in NorCal very much. We have a pretty good selection. SoCal's getting worse. I know Milestone's closing down, but they've got their selections too. They got a bunch of tracks. So in California, your options are way good for the most part. But you get into some of the other parts of the country, and there is less places to ride. And people have their private tracks where you can get together with their buddies and whatever. But having legit race tracks where you can go and be competitive and ride and race, there's not as much. And I don't know the other markets. I don't know if it's gotten better, worse, plateaued, whatever. I don't know. But California, I gotta admit, man, kind of spoiled here in NorCal. We're doing pretty good. Let's take a break. We'll come back and we will finish out the rest of the show.
Main event moto.
I hate to say it, but our NorCal Motoheads are pretty spoiled. Why? Well, where do they ride, Joe?
Riverfront, E Street, and Prairie City. And don't ask me who takes care of them trackside during the week, because it's EMT Racing.
And who takes care of them trackside during the week, Joe?
Really, man? I literally just said EMT Racing. You didn't hear me?
That's right. If you're from Northern California and support Main Event Moto, then spin your laps at Rep Racing Tracks, buy your bikes and parts from Modesto, Honda, Cowie, KTM, and make sure EMT Racing takes care of your trackside and service needs.
Spin your laps at Rep Racing Tracks. I see what you did there. I like that.
If you're from Northern California and you're a true Motohead, then you better get your bike from Honda, Kawasaki, KTM of Modesto. They also got betas, ATVs, and side-by-sides. And if you don't know how to use Google Maps, well then here, I'll help you out. Visit them off of Carpenter Road in Modesto and see their track support parts trailer at all California Central Valley races. Visit www.hkmodesto.com to apply for the rider team, store deals, and upcoming events. And check them out on Instagram at Honda_Cowie_KTM.
Main Event Moto Podcast.
Ooh-wee. Now we are watching AMA Supercross on Speed World, ESPN, brought to you by Suzuki. McGrath, Tortelli, Huffman, Schnell, and Krein. That's your heat number 3. This is from Daytona. Sick track, too. Super busy.
A lot of hate on the Suzukis lately on social.
Well, the sport, dude, they turn on you. And Suzuki is pulling out, bro. And, thinning out. They're pulling back again and again.
Look at this guy with his double earrings.
McGrath, dude, 2 loops in the left. Does the right one have 2 or 1?
I don't know. You got to have 2, though,
Got
bro.
the little flavor saver.
Only the real dudes have 2.
He looks dope, dude. What year is
You
that?
look like
that
you,
look?
05.
I think so, man. I think I did. I think I was doing that. And look, he's got the TLD helmet with the fin on it. McGrath was sick, dude. He was the first guy to have legit stuff. That's not fair. Bradshaw had 6. I mean, there's guys back then, but McGrath just looked different.
All right, brother. So
All right.
we got 90 more. So
Let's
this is
do it.
going to be a speed lightning round every which way.
All right.
No more tangents. Look at these 2 dorks.
Dude, don't say that ever again, dude. Art Ekman and David Bailey. Bailey's my favorite of all time. He's the professor, bro.
You're wearing
The little
ties.
professor. Hey, you could turn the volume up on this, Joe. Pull out a pen and paper and take notes, and you could.
I have
you could
no
learn,
doubt.
you
They're
could
wearing
learn the
dress
sport.
shirts and ties,
You
of
could
course.
learn the sport listening to David Bailey for an hour.
Taking us to school.
He was the best. All right, so speed round.
Speed round, let's go, baby.
All right, so do I just tell the person they're either an idiot or a genius?
Yes or no answers.
Idiot or genius? Are those my only two options, or can I go in the middle?
Those are your only two.
All right, don't take offense, because if it's borderline middle and I call you an idiot, I may not feel that way, but these are Joe's rules.
Sebastian C. Media has got one similar to RH22 earlier. He says, have one of our most widely known guys with the best personality, like Travis Pastrana, go on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like him or not, Joe has created interest in multiple niche sports/hobbies. Genius.
Absolute genius. And that would be a hard one, though, because you got to get the right guy on there. Again, like Adam Cincerello is by far your best, probably likable personality, intelligent. He makes the sport look great.
Well, I think he chose the perfect guy, Travis.
Travis would, I mean, honestly, I can't believe that hasn't happened. I can't believe Travis Pastrana has not been on Joe Rogan. I mean, what the hell? Like, not even just for the Supercross and Moto side, just his life in general. The dude is one of the best stories of all time to ever come out of this sport ever, and he was only in it for a couple of years professionally. Travis is the ultimate G.
He would go on the show and he probably wouldn't even talk about. I mean, he might be like, I got my start in Supercross Motocross, and that would be the only thing he says about it.
It would be mostly about the freestyle and
his business and his life and all the movies and
it would
whatever.
He would slightly touch on it. But again, he would be the best, as we see him on screen right now, busting heel clickers off triples on his 125. No, Pastrana would be the best by far, or J-Law. Let's get J-Law on Rogan. That would be incredible.
Start the petition, Motoheads.
He probably wouldn't even do that, dude. He'd be like, nah. I'd rather do nothing.
He's too cool for that. I don't know. All
right, next one. Genius idea, though. Genius idea.
DJK2115. I think there needs to be more local tracks in the Bay Area. Everything is at least an hour away from us.
Dude.
So similar to that other guy.
I'm with you, but, bro, you live in the Bay Area. I mean, that's worse than California. It's actually worse than California. Your whole area is what's causing most of the problems in this state.
Different show, Daddy.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, the Bay Area, and it's not all you, but the big mama in the Bay Area is wrecking everything.
Save it for the main.
You San Franciscans, you know what I'm talking about. You all just walking around crapping, wiping your asses with your own sweatshirt. Around with the kids
don't blow her out like that. Don't blow her out like that.
Dude, it was a her. And yes, my kids witnessed a lady just pull her pants down, crap on the side of the street, take her sweatshirt off, wipe her ass with the sweatshirt, and throw it on the ground.
Well, it's time your kids learned that everybody poops
in public. Right.
CPRU 992. Top 10 in the mains have to start backwards, and then everyone has to shotgun a monster every 5 laps.
I'm super sorry. Who said that?
CPRU 992.
Dude, I'm so sorry. This doesn't. Maybe this isn't like your whole life, but at least with this, that goes in the idiot.
Oh man,
category. I'm sorry.
TR Dirty Feld needs to hire the nursing home fight club promoters.
What's that?
That is a topic that we discussed on the main show a few weeks ago.
Oh, you're talking about the nursing home where the people working there were making the old people fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's genius. I agree with that one.
Will you talk to your corporate overlords about that?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be into that.
You're beholden to that.
Put the name on the gift card list for me. I'm a huge fan of that idea. It should be UFC Supercross. Top 2 after the race, fight for the trophy. Full-blown fist fight.
30+2 says, popular beer companies should sponsor Supercross again. Bring back the Vegas babes you used to see at the U.S. Open. And let riders be rock stars, or at least have personalities.
I agree. Yeah. On the alcohol thing, I don't know. That was definitely a crazy time. You know, it was Coors. You had a Camel back in the day. The cigarettes. We talked about that a week or two ago.
That's
right?
Amazing.
Camel
made me want to smoke some Camels.
Can you believe that? I mean, literally,
even
like
professional
athletes, dude. The series was brought to you by a cigarette company. That's hilarious.
That is funny.
I mean, we'll probably think that way someday too about this. Like, remember when the sport was brought to you by those drink companies that everyone
feeding our children poison?
That everyone died, like half the population, all in like one year, all died.
Nobody's dying from water and sugar and creatine.
Dude, whatever. I mean, there will be studies 100 years from now. Remember that period? when everyone was drinking energy drinks. And they all died.
That's why, everybody knows it's water. Domesticated development, get Ken Roxon on Joe Rogan.
No, because he's too protective.
We've already determined Travis Pastrana is the best choice.
It's got to be a rider who literally has...
Or what about Ricky?
Ricky would be good on there too, but I mean...
If we're talking about Supercross.
Ricky would be good because he's whatever. I mean, it's got to be someone that literally would have no filter and wouldn't be afraid to just speak, because on that show you can't do that. You get seen through so quick if you try to hold back. I mean, even for me, as much as I would really love to go on Joe Rogan, I probably wouldn't be able to be 100% myself, because the reach is too far and I wouldn't want to get in trouble.
Oh, so it'd be just like this show.
Pretty much. According to some. All right, next one.
Mad Motocross. I would organize more days where kids who don't ride can ride at a test day. Then promote those days at elementary and middle schools. I'm sure those kids are going to love it and would want to get involved with the sport.
I agree. I've had this plan in my head that I wish could be formulated at some point. I would love to have a facility that has PW50s, CRF50s, KLX 110s, and people can come and rent. You know how you can go to, the go-kart place and they have the helmets all there for you, and you put on the helmet.
Right.
And the helmet
So it'd be a go-kart track, but with dirt bikes.
Same kind of thing, but more of a training and intro facility where you teach kids, and you have a group of 10 kids.
All right, let me ask you this
and
then.
They have training wheels, whatever.
Yeah, we've talked about this idea. So let me ask you this then. And in theory, how quickly do you think, let's say a guy and his chick showed up, that's their date. This is a date they're going on. Both of them have never ridden before. They're going to show up, they're going to rent a couple bikes from you, all the gear. How soon or how quick does it take for them to be able to then start going around the little track on their own? Like at 10 miles per hour, or 5 miles per hour.
In all reality, Joe, you've never ridden, have you?
I've never straddled a dirt bike.
What about Ashley?
Probably not. She better not have.
Behind your back.
Not without me.
Hanging with J-Law when you're not around.
Oh, hell no.
I could teach you, and within, honestly, a quick 10 to 15 minute mini tutorial, you'd be just cruising around by yourself.
Just cruising around.
And you would honestly
rap.
freak out. Now, the problem is, the next step, go buy a bike and buy all the gear and buy everything and then go ride, is pretty damn expensive.
Well, hold on. So what we're doing is we're wetting our beak a little bit. Me and the lady, we're just going to go out and try it, and I'm going to try to be cool in front of her and maybe try to do a little something, and then I crash. And then it's like, oh, okay, it's all good. Get back up. You're only going 2 miles per hour, dummy. Mm-hmm. And so you could teach, so you would do it in groups, like say there's 10 people.
Yep.
Get them all up and running on the bike in about 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
20 for the dumbasses.
Yep.
And then they're good. They could ride around for an hour or however long they, the pay structure's for.
Yep.
And then they're good to go.
Yeah. I honestly think...
I think that'd be a great idea, and it would really help people learn what it feels like to ride around on a dirt bike. In a big
enough market, which would work around here, Sacramento, if you had land that was set aside, but then you're talking the rent and it's so expensive. It would just sadly, I don't think it would work unless you had
the insurance would just be your
ton of money
most
to invest.
Expensive
but
part.
dude, if you literally had a facility that taught people how to ride motorcycles, dirt bikes, and they could do it for fun, and you and your chick that are on a date could come and ride, and you have the gear, all the different sizes, and you sign the waiver form, whatever, and you just ride a very juvenile track where you just get to ride, have a good time.
Yeah.
It could even have a little bar and grill area connected to it, so you can get some food. Obviously, the bar is for when you're done, not before. I mean, or maybe you need a little before. I don't know.
Sure.
I think it would be huge in the right market.
I agree.
Again,
that would help grow the sport a little bit, because people would get the feel. You'd talk about it, whatever.
And maybe that's more fans in the stands at the stadiums, or more watching TV because now they're a fan of the sport because they did it.
Right.
You're a different type of fan when you can actually do the thing you like.
Sure. Have a bunch of dirt out there, switch it up, and then promote an amateur race night or something, and people who have paid to come out and do your little thing.
Get tickets to come watch it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
just an overall promotion package kind of deal.
Yeah, and then you have 10 to 15 bikes that are there, and they're all rentals, and you match the right rider up with the right bike, and you teach them how to ride. Ricky does this stuff at Supercrosses with a lot of the VIPs and some of the media. Like when we have big outside media come and show up, I mean, I've watched him, and they've weeded up right in front of us pretty good, dude. I watched one last year just in the mud, eat crap in Vegas.
Oh.
But Ricky will teach them all how to ride, and there'll be 6 or 7 of them. And they all, when they're done, are like freaked out. Like they can't believe they did it. And they're like so accomplished.
Sure.
Because for the general public, again, if Joe, which I will teach you someday, whenever you do ride for the first time, you're going to be like, dude, this is just like the weirdest thrill ever. It is rad. And then you'll watch these guys and go, oh my God, now I really respect them.
Yeah.
Because
I have
Travis
no
Pastrana,
respect for them right now.
Right now you have none. But
Zero.
if you rode around a little pit bike, you would really respect him. I believe that.
Just kidding, everybody. Mitchell176, he says, good day, DB and PJ.
Good day.
I have a few quick ideas to grow the sport. Number 1, make Monster Cups a rotating event, not just a Las Vegas. 1 year in New York, next year in Detroit. Number 2, the sport is so young and is still growing.
Did you just say Detroit?
Yeah.
From Michigan? Like, it ain't... Dude, you know,
this guy might even be like Australian or something. I don't know.
okay, maybe he doesn't know our country very well. They're not taking Monster Cup to Detroit.
Well, he's saying
I know what he's saying. I'm joking.
maybe they would.
You can go. I know what you're saying. Go around to different markets.
Yeah, go around different
and
places.
Maybe you can. The problem is though, is getting into those stadiums in October when they're football. You know,
right?
Pittsburgh isn't going to like. Yeah,
sure. Come on in, destroy our
the
field.
crap out of our place when we got the Steelers on next Monday night.
Don't get too hung up about the nuts and bolts here. He's just throwing out ideas.
I love that.
He says great things take time, like Main Event Moto.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
According to many, I don't know. We were better back in the day. That's what
J. Bear Bauer 105. I like this. What he says: cut out all the bullshit classes. Half the classes, bigger gate per class, shorter day. Get people headed back home early on race day.
Like on a local race?
He doesn't say.
All right.
215 Garrett D says motocross programs in college and universities.
That's a badass idea. I used to think that back in the day when I was in high school. I was like, man, I wish because all the jocks were like, playing football. They thought they were all cool. And I'm like, you know what? If motocross if there was a motocross team at the high school, I'd be the team captain.
That'd be a badass movie.
There would be no. Is there a movie? Oh. Oh yeah, no. But at my school, I'm pretty sure it was me and my brother. And actually, he didn't even go to high school with me. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that raced in my high school.
Probably, it's pretty rare.
2,000 kids, and I don't think any of them even rode. Maybe some of the farm kids had like a quad.
Right.
But I think I was the only one at my school that rode a dirt bike.
Probably, but
that's
But that changed though. Like shortly after we graduated, after the year 2000, I remember my brother at his school, there was a bunch of posers with dirt bikes in their back of their trucks.
Yeah, those are the same guys that were like wearing top out shirts.
Yes.
They had bikes, but they didn't ride them.
Yeah.
They had like brand new Affliction shirts.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not gonna lie. I owned an Affliction shirt at one time.
Oh, yeah.
Just one.
Everyone did.
Just one.
Everyone did. Don't let them tell you they didn't.
Yeah, and if you're out there right now laughing, saying you never did, you're a liar.
Hey, Mitchell176 has another idea.
Everyone has worn Affliction.
Even Brad Pitt. And you all know how I feel about Brad.
That's right. Next one.
Mitchell176 says, number 3, give DB and PJ a mini-series show to meet up with the riders, interview on film away from the track, ride together, etc. Bring out the characters in the sport outside of the stadium. Give the fans and people something to relate to.
See, that would satisfy the diehards more than it would grow it. I don't think new people are going to be attracted to something needs to draw in the new. The diehards, dude, trust me, I got about 20 things on a list of how to satisfy diehard fans that could be changed. But I'm saying to grow the sport to a new audience, there's got to be something else that grows the new people. You know what I mean?
GRube79 says dealerships carrying a dirt bike again would be a start. In my area, it's all side-by-sides and street bikes filling the shops.
I'm with you. The problem is the dealerships, they got to make money. They got to, put food on their table too. And those markets are exploding, and the dirt bike ones are kind of just flatlined. So I'm with you, but then again, it goes back on the same thing. The motorcycles are so damn expensive. Nobody buys new bikes anymore. You know who buys new bikes is the competitive people, and there's less of them now. And then like your really rich vet who wants to buy the sick new Roxon edition or the Cooper Webb edition that's going to come out whenever next. That's who buys new bikes. Everyone else they'll ride a bike for 4 or 5 years. My uncle got into the sport, and dude, he rode an 07 Yamaha 450 for like 5 years. They just kept rebuilding it because what was he wasn't going to buy a brand new, and there's no point. He couldn't even barely ride the one he was on. He was new to the sport. He was a vet getting into it. He wasn't going to go buy the Roxon edition. He had a Yamaha 450 that he had plenty of room to grow on. So why would he spend $12,000 on a new bike when he already had a used one? He just new top end and clutch here and there. So that's the problem, is the new bikes are too expensive, and there's not enough turnover. And yeah, it's just too hard to get in. Again, you get that person interested, and then you tell them how much it's going to cost to get into it. They're like, what? You can't. It's pretty limited, man. All right, next one. Last one, if that's okay.
2 more, Poppy.
All right.
Seth from above says, I think the only way to grow the sport would be to race less. Let's be honest, the seasons kind of drag on after about the halfway point. Give the riders more time in between races. They'll be way happier, healthier, and we would be able to have more high-profile guys like we used to have because their careers would last so much longer than they do now.
The only truth to that is we do lose riders at a young age. Other than, Wyndham went pretty long, Chad Reed, Justin Brayton, there's the few. But for the most part, Ricky, RV, Dungy, Tomac soon, probably in a couple of years. We're losing these guys before 30, which is crazy. It's hard for people to become fans of someone when they're in and they're out. I mean, even look at Tom Brady, dude. I mean, the guy's been playing for like 100 years. It's like, if we had more longevity out of our stars, it would be better. So to that point, I think he's right, but that'll never happen either. I don't see the probability of that happening. Other than, no, it won't. But I like it. I know what you're saying. Agree.
Last one. Family member of the show, Mr. Eric Nye. He says, to grow the sport, I would do away with 450s in pro racing.
Now he's getting crazy.
To fix the sport.
I'm all in on that.
We know you are. Hang on a second.
It's been a year since I've ranted about that. I'm 450s.
Not even.
450s need to
it's been like
go.
30 days tops. To fix the sport, I would move Monster Cup to December as a warm-up race to Supercross. Then I wouldn't start the Motocross Nationals until Memorial Day weekend, so riders have a few weeks off after Supercross to prepare for the Nationals. Lastly, I would make the last U.S. National Labor Day weekend in September, so it is closer to the Motocross to Nations at the end of the month. Then riders actually have some downtime with no racing in September and October, unless they are chosen to represent USA at Motocross to Nations, which then they should go if picked. And those riders would still have all of October off. Boom. That fixes a lot of problems.
It does, and I don't know what the hurdles would be in all of those things happening, but it is a cleanup.
Yeah. So, Eric, the question was how to grow the sport, not fix the sport. And your only answer to growing the sport
Did the question say fix or grow?
I thought it said grow.
I don't even know what it said. What's the listener question say?
It's...
Maybe he's right, and we've been wrong this whole time. Maybe we got to...
No, let's have some fun. What would you do to grow the sport? That's what you said.
Yeah, Eric.
And Eric said to grow the sport, his only answer was to get away with to do away with 450s.
He doesn't even listen to the show. So
come on, Eric, step it up.
Let's talk bad about him and see if
your
he says
game up,
anything.
Eric.
Yeah.
Can't talk bad about it.
Anyways, I think a lot could be done to grow the sport, but I believe, again, in summary, we need to get more eyes, and it needs to start young and get the next generation of people interested in this sport. And again, go after those, the kids that aren't into football, basketball, baseball. Go grab those kids, get them involved, get them interested, and be patient, and know that's going to take some time. And again, honestly, as much as I hate the Instagram thing and I kind of hate the amateur thing, the one thing I will say about it is there are a couple kids and amateurs who are pretty active on social media, which I hate, and they're super freak amateurs, and they're all in, which I hate. But the truth is, for the growth of the sport, we're kind of counting on Danger Boy Deegan, Ryder DiFrancesco. There's a couple coming up that have a fan base that are at the size of the pro guys now, and hopefully their fan base is a lot of youth, and hopefully that all kind of carries in, and we get a nice little wave here in the next 10 years. That's my opinion. And again, we need more personality at the top. It doesn't have to be a good personality. It could be a bad one. It just needs more personality. Just the plain, vanilla, perfect human being thing, you can only have one of them. You need more diversity in the personalities at the top. And hopefully that spreads out a little bit and gets people more into it and starts liking the characters behind the sport. So that's my opinion, Joe. In closing, what would you do to grow the sport? One thing.
Oh, man. I like the... dude, there's a lot of good ideas today. Getting people out there riding the dirt bikes a little bit. I think massive marketing on ESPN, ABC, CBS, everywhere. Just massive marketing campaigns. Huge pump. I mean, $1 million marketing campaigns.
To the targeted audience.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Jump on those algorithms, whoever is our corporate overlords, and start blasting people. Dude, I'm not even looking for a chair. I just said the word and I got a chair on my timeline. Somebody who just says the word dirt bike should be seeing tons of pictures of dirt bikes and supercross
I think
racing.
it's simple. We need J-Law.
There it is.
We need J-Law. Huge shout out to Nature's Bakery, Fly Racing, Skivvy Underwears, Mika Metals, Scott USA, No Toil, Honda Cowie, KTM of Modesto, Guts Racing, EMT Racing, Key Bar, Rep Racing, and Motosport.com. Who was the first to say we need J-Law? That'll be my winner.
I thought it was Bryson P04.
Is that who you picked?
No, but I'll have to go back.
Can you go back and look?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because we've been in twice now. I think we've not announced the winner, and then people have been like, "Did I win?"
I don't say that. Don't say we, son.
Hey, how about that? Cody Piscatelli never even hit us up, and he won last week. So
because Cody knows what's up.
Because Cody don't even listen. He just goes on the Instagram comments.
Cody knows.
Talks crap and doesn't even listen to the show probably.
Cody knows
and then
that.
Probably starts threads.
Cody knows you have a problem in delivering the goods.
That's not true. Everybody has gotten their gift card.
Did JS511 get his?
I think. I don't know. Probably
See,
not.
Look at you. Yep, Bryson P04. Let J-Law ride.
Bryson P04, you're the winner, because you're right. It's what we've been missing the whole time. We've been trying all these things.
You're right. He is right.
We need J-Law. Plain and simple.
Yep.
Good show. 139 was fun. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in to Main Event Moto.
Main Event Moto. Screw it. You know it by now.